We create jobs and make entrepreneurial dreams come true. ACE, a nonprofit community lender, specializes in small business loans coupled with business advisory services. ACE has loaned more than $39 million, helped over 725 business owners fulfill their dreams, and ACE has helped its clients create or retain more than 6,200 jobs. These are the stories of those businesses we've helped reach success and claim their American dream.
Welcome to Ace Best Stories. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We highlight the stories of entrepreneurs along the entrepreneurial journey. Today, we're talking with Diesha Williams. She's with Atlanta Pose and Post Photobooth app booth, right? That's how you use most of it. So, Atlanta Pose and Post Photobooth. So, what is a pose and post photo booth?
Well, it's an open air photo booth company. And what we do, we provide photo booth services for weddings, corporate events, birthday parties, anything that's social that people want to capture, events and capture their guests having a good time. And
so these are the kind that have that, like the what do you call it? The things you can put on the clothes.
So that's an option. It all depends on the client. So we can bring props that are over the top, like, oversized sunglasses, boas, funny hats, mustaches, lips, and all that. Or if you have a more conservative client that likes the idea of an open air a photo booth, but it's just, I just want to capture my
pictures,
guests
right,
in funny poses or just doing silly stuff or just pictures at my grand opening, at my launch party. It doesn't necessarily have to be, the typical photo booth, but we can cater to any one of those.
Okay. Is it self-directed? So do I go in and put things on and then take the picture? Do you have somebody there?
No. So my photo booth does require an attendant.
Okay.
Which is me.
Yeah.
And I'm there to assist your guests as they get into the booth, offer pose suggestions, offer props to them, keep things rolling through the event.
Right.
That time, guests, after they take their pictures, guests can then come over and post. That's where the post comes in to their social media.
Okay.
Platforms, or text it or email it to their cell so that they can share at a later time.
So I'm old enough to have had the disposable cameras, and so I've seen those at weddings.
I am too.
Yeah. And not everyone is a great photographer.
Right.
So it sounds like in this situation, at least, there's a little bit of control over the kind of pictures you're going to get.
Absolutely. And the quality that's all I hear. Wow, those pictures are great. It's just the quality of the pictures come out so amazing, and everyone looks good in them regardless. So you're going to get professional looking pictures from your event, and just people being themselves or being really, really silly in them. And it's fun. It's just really, it's fun and it's entertaining.
Yeah.
So.
And the whole concept of posting. So if you're having a corporate event and you want to support it over social media.
Correct.
This feels like a really great way of doing that.
Correct. So we can customize the photo booth to post immediately to the corporate, like, so if it's ABC Corporation, and this is their event. And when we can customize the booth to post directly to their social media platforms.
Very cool.
Although I think, maybe some corporations may want to filter what photos get posted. So we have an option where I provide the client with, a digital,
a way
file.
To approve them. Yeah,
Right. I share them with them, or either on a USB drive or through a photo gallery website. Okay. So they can then filter through what they want to post and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I could see that could be
could
be a challenge.
But if you have a hashtag, if you have a hashtag for your event and people are posting weddings, couples do that these days. They have hashtags. So they ask their guests, once you take your picture, share it, hashtag it. On Facebook, they can do the same thing. So it's really fun.
Well, and what I love about it, because we've been talking with you all about kind of social media and marketing use, this is a way to capture and then make sure that event lives on. Because
Correct.
people do, you spend all this money on
Right.
putting together an event, on doing something, and then it's over.
Right.
And it's almost like everybody goes, I'm glad
Yeah.
that's over. Let's
Right.
never talk about it again.
Right.
But what your system allows us to do is come back and see the pictures again to kind of re-experience it.
Correct. And it's fun. It's just, I laugh. Even at an event that I did a month ago, I go back and I look and I'm like, oh, that was so funny. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They just had a good time. And people just keep coming and coming back to the booth because they're having a good time. They
Right.
can let loose and just, you know, be themselves.
Yeah. Well, and it's a great way also I could see for company branding. Like if
Yeah.
I had a certain color I wanted to use or
Correct.
something, then those
Correct.
could be the props. So did you as a small child, did you run around and take pictures of things, or like how did you end up in this as a business?
No. Like I've always liked camera. I mean, like I've always appreciated the art in photography, but by no means am I a photographer. My dream job is to become an interior designer, home stager.
Okay.
So when I announced this business to my closest friends and family, they were like, what happened to the interior design? I was like, I like it. And I like that. I think I like the idea of being an interior designer, but things changed and I just started opening my eyes to other opportunities. And I went to 2 events that had a photo booth recently. I went to a wedding and I went to a 40th birthday party. And at that time, my mind was just kind of open to what's out there. What can
Right.
I do? I want to be an entrepreneur. What can I do that still allowed me to balance my family, work life, right? Just to be more available for my kids and husband and family and all that stuff, but still make an income and still fulfill my desire to be an entrepreneur. So after I went to those 2 events, I said, I can do that.
Yeah.
I bet I can do that. And started looking into it. So, and the more and more I started to look into it, I got intrigued and I was just like, yeah, I can see myself doing this.
So step me back. So no worries. So you went to school what did you end up doing kind of early in your life?
Right after high school, I worked for a restaurant. Well, during high school, I worked in a restaurant and I graduated from high school and really still didn't have a direction on what I wanted to do. So I just took some college courses at a community college, and at the restaurant, a bookkeeping position came open. And it was in a Buckhead location. So they were asking me if I knew anyone that was interested. And I said, could I do it?
Right.
Because then I was part-time in school and I was part-time working. And they said, yeah, you can do it. And so that has kind of been my work. It's in bookkeeping and admin. At one point, I thought I wanted to be a nurse. So I did a trade school for medical assistant, and that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So I went back into bookkeeping and ended up in the commercial construction environment.
Okay.
And so that's where I am now.
And is the commercial construction, because you talk about this interior design thing,
Yeah.
you just like to
No, my mother has a knack for decorating. I've always liked it, appreciated it, was enthusiastic about it. And I said, oh man, if I could have a dream career, it would be an interior designer. So, marriage and children and everything else comes along and you kind of put those dreams on the side. And then I kind of picked them back up in 2014.
Okay.
And started taking some evening classes for an interior design program.
Got it.
But that's the only amount of time I could spare was evening classes. So it was going really, really slow.
Right, yeah.
And that cubicle wall at work was closing in on me and I wanted to be the best student I could be. And I put a lot of pressure on myself trying to do that. And so I took a couple steps back and I was just like, what is your real goal here? And my goal is to balance my family work life.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
And how was I going to do that? And I was going to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And that's where I just kind of opened myself up to a different type of entrepreneur.
So it's a smart thing to kind of take a step back like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get stuck on a goal.
Yeah.
Like you'll look at it and say, that's where I'm headed.
Yeah.
But it's really, well, why was I headed to that goal?
Right.
Like what is the
Right.
purpose?
Right.
Is there another way potentially to make that same thing
Correct.
happen?
Correct.
Yeah. And so I love the fact that you went to a couple of events and saw this and thought, hey, that's something that I'd like to look into.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what were the next steps? Like you decided that you wanted to potentially do this. What did you do next?
So I said, first I had to figure out what it was actually called. I mean, I knew it was like a photo booth, but I didn't know where they came from. I didn't know who made them. Do photographers make them or do they make their own? So I just started researching, and most industries have associations.
Yeah.
So I found photo booth owner associations or something like that. And they were they were having a trade show. And then you can look on all their sponsors. So I started looking at all the sponsors on this website for their trade show. And I looked at a couple of them, and I clicked on a couple websites where these people actually manufacture photo booths. And I came across a company out of California, and I fell in love with the look.
Okay. So
that's the visual person in me. I fell in love with the look of it.
And that's important. I mean, if you're building something, it's about that appearance.
Right.
And, how does it make people feel? Do they want to walk up to it? Those
yeah.
kind of things.
So right. I started to look more and more to that company. And I liked what they were selling. I liked their brand. I liked their community. I liked the sophistication of their brand. And I said I could represent that very well.
Okay. So that way you didn't have to, because there could have been a couple of routes. You could have decided I'm going to go find everything and try to put it together myself.
Absolutely. Right.
Or I could go out and find something that's almost in a box,
right.
which helps to get you a little bit further along. You
right.
don't have to,
right.
yeah.
Right.
So you found something in a box.
Right. And that fits for me.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're like sort of, we call it a side hustle. You're looking
right.
for a side hustle,
right.
get to play.
Right.
See
I wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel. I was just like,
right.
There's someone out here who has done all the research and development.
Right.
And I fell in love with that. And I was like, that's a great opportunity for me and to start a business.
Yeah. And so how long have you been doing this as a kind of a side hustle?
Oh, well, I just got my equipment in May.
Okay.
The end of May is when I got my equipment.
So you're new to it.
Yes, I'm very new. But the process has started since probably September last year.
Okay.
Just going through actually putting things in place.
Yeah. And it takes that. It takes
Yeah.
a period of time to get things together. And so we're going to go to commercial break. And when we get back, I want to talk about, you decide September, between September and May to when you get that booth.
Yeah.
What were the things that you learned along the way? And what are some of the challenges or things that you're learning now about getting the business off the ground?
Okay.
So we're talking with Diesha Williams. She is with Atlanta Pose and Photo Booth. So Pose and Post Photo Booth.
Yeah,
Pose and Post Photo Booth. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. You're listening to Ace's Best Stories, and we'll be back in just a minute.
If it wasn't for ACE, my business may have closed in 1 year.
If it wasn't for ACE, my business wouldn't be expanded as much as it's expanding right now. They were there for me at the time of my need.
If it wasn't for ACE, we would not be here today.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for ACE, I would very much still be cooking at an hourly rate, and I would have never impacted hundreds of lives and an entire community.
I still remember going to different kind of banks, big banks, and with papers, and these people send me back because I don't have, I had experience in the restaurant business, but I don't have, everything else this bank needed. and Ace believed in me.
I did the research in Adult Day. I had experienced it personally because my grandfather had Alzheimer's. So I wanted to do the business myself, get into it because I knew I could make a difference.
Initially, when we started, there was only one person, which would be me. And then the company have grown from 1% to 8, and we provide quality assurance, quality control testing for FDA-regulated companies.
I think Grace not only completely understands what it's like to start off in an office connected to your laundry room or wherever she was, but she also understands the growth process, and I think that she does an excellent job of making sure that everybody who works with ACE has an understanding of the kind of struggles and celebrations that you can have.
ACE has helped us with putting our business idea into the market, working with us with the business, actually working, actually showing us, guiding me personally how to solve some of my marketing issue problems or with the business planning.
You don't meet many lenders that are invested in your success. And, you know, from their classes or presentations, seminars, they really do have a vested interest in your success.
The best advice I can do to small business owners is follow your dreams. You know, always follow your dreams, follow your heart.
Have a plan. Just because you have a passion for it doesn't mean that you can start a good business.
Get ready for the ride of your life, and definitely make sure that you look out for fantastic resources like ACE.
ACE is a way to go.
You're just the best. They really are.
And we're back. You're listening to Ace's Best Stories. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We're talking today with Diesha Williams. She's with Atlanta Pose and Post Photobooth, which everyone must say multiple times. It's my new tongue twister. And it's a really cool concept. What I love about certain people's businesses is that they get to always play.
Yes.
Like you get to have fun.
Yes.
Not every business says that, right?
Right. I get to have fun and be creative.
Yeah.
So a part of the business also is customizing and personalizing the photo layout for the event. So that requires me to work in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And I get to do whatever, well, not whatever I want, but you know, the client has their request and then I go to create it.
Yeah.
And so I think that kind of feeds my creative
Good outlet.
Yeah. Or well, because I am a creative person, and so that feeds into that. And we get to have fun. It's just fun.
Yeah. And so you decided last September that, you know, you'd found a business or found a company that had the booth that you liked. And
right.
You said I have a test on my website about a quiz and you're an operator.
Yes.
So you wanted to find something that was already done.
Yes.
And your husband's a visionary.
Yes,
so
he
was like, why don't you just build it? Do it yourself.
Right.
And in your world, you're like, no. Operators are great with franchises. They love to have systems already, things they can follow. So that fit really well for you. That was smart. That was smart.
I'm extremely practical and cautious, but I have a little bit of a side that wants to grow and challenge myself.
Yes.
Well, I have a lot of that. And then this stage in my life, it's just like, it's time to grow.
Yeah.
It's time to challenge yourself, get out of your comfort zone. And I'm doing that for myself and also to be able to, whenever my children get to that phase in their life, I'm able to kind of just guide them through it. Because, you know, life is a journey. It's a journey. There you go.
It's not a destination.
It is a journey. There you go.
That's what entrepreneurs love, the journey.
Yeah. So
they really hate the destination.
No,
entrepreneurs do. When you get to the destination, you're like, oh, I'm here now.
it's time to reinvent yourself.
Okay, well, there you go. That's more journey.
Yes,
right?
more journey.
So tell me about challenges or things that you ran into from September till the point that you actually have the booth in hand in May.
So once I decided that I wanted to be an owner of a photo booth, of course, you had to figure out how to pay for it.
Yeah.
So the booth I have is not the cheapest on the market. And it was pretty standard. The cheapest one was standard. It was just the booth and the equipment, but there was no printer, there was no backdrops, there were no props, there were no anything else that came with it. But at the bare minimum, I was just like, well, I'll just get it myself.
Yeah.
And my husband, was just like, what? He was like, I said, I can do it. I'll just move this here, and we can do it. He was just like, well, why don't you think about financing it? And I said, really, it's not that expensive. Why do I need to get a business loan or something to get it? And he said, well, just think about it. And I was like, well, we can pull this together.
Visionary operator.
Right.
Visionary operator.
Right. So the first thing I did, the company offered in-house financing.
Okay.
So I went to them and they came back with a 38% interest rate.
A what?
38% interest rate. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Well,
and they tried to sell me. I'm pretty sure it was like an outside financing company, but they tried to sell me on, oh, you'll make this amount each month. You'll be able to pay this off. And I was like, I would triple
right
the investment.
Yeah.
Paying you back over 3 years.
Right.
I was like, I'm not that foolish.
Right. And the margins, it would eat into your margins.
Yeah.
I said,
I'm not that foolish. Yeah. So, it took me back to where I attended an event in July of 2016. A good friend of mine invited me to a ACE promotional film event. And she said, just come network with other women and other business women. And I said, okay, because at that time I was still trying to figure it out. And, well, I was still trying to pursue the interior design.
Okay.
And she was like, just come and network with like-minded people and just get out there, because I'm not naturally a person that does that.
Yeah.
And so I go and we get there. Well, I meet her there. And they're premiering a movie called Dream Girl.
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
Okay. And I was just inspired. But again, at that time, I wasn't thinking about financing anything. And so a couple months went by, and then, I figured I wanted to be an owner and needed to figure out how to pay for this. And I said, you know what? ACE and their Women's Business Center could probably help me with that. So I went on their website and I saw a workshop, how to start up and finance your own business. I went and attended. I think I did that like in December. It was like the last one they were having. No, maybe November. It was in November. And I was like, I'm going to get this done before New Year's. Right. And so I go, and it was very casual. It was laid back. It was a room of other women. Some were caterers. They wanted to start a restaurant. Some wanted nonprofit. I mean, it was all walks of life, all types of businesses. And I said, well, I want to start a photo booth business. And, a lot of people were like, what's that? And I was just like, well, I just need help buying my equipment. And they said, well, we can do that. And then so once the class got started and they started going over all the different criteria, I said, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. I'm ready to do that. And I was like, here I am.
Yeah.
Let's get the ball rolling.
One of the things you can do that a lot of business owners can't do is keep your books.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
You know your numbers.
Basic.
Yeah,
yes,
you
basic.
know your numbers.
Yeah, right. And basic, I'm not a CPA, but I know cash in, cash out.
Right.
And I know stuff like that. So,
yeah.
The next step was I took the course and I met all those criteria to work with ACE. And the next step was to schedule a one-on-one consultation with one of their mentors. So I did that in December, and it was her last appointment for before Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And it was only supposed to be an hour. Well, it wasn't. I think we did it in 45 minutes. I told her what I wanted to do. I told her why I wanted to do it. And she said, you can do this. And she said, I think it's a great idea. And just start your business plan. So the next few months was getting a business plan together.
Okay. And that process, was it comfortable for you, or is it something, how did you know to do that? Because you hear that often, right? And business plans sound intimidating to people.
Oh, they're absolutely intimidating, but they were necessary.
Yeah.
It was very necessary. So I would work on it for like maybe an hour every other day. It was hard. It was hard because it wasn't my normal thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't. But I just kept researching, finding stuff about this industry. It wasn't the photography industry. It's more of a specialty, more of an entertainment industry. So I just started researching those and gathering data and figuring out how this was going to be something someone would want.
Yeah. And people when I work with them on business plans, they get stuck at different points. So there are things they do well and things they don't do well. What was there one part of it that was like the hardest thing for you?
Well, like predicting or forecasting my sales.
Okay.
Because I feel like I am a practical person. I was like,
No idea. Right.
I don't know. I can guess. I can absolutely guess it. I can tell you how much money and how many sales I want. And my mentor at the Women's Business Center, she said, yeah, that's where you want to start. Just predict and you can go from there. So that was a little bit of a challenge because I was like, yeah, I want to make, $10,000 a month,
right.
But what is it actually gonna be, and it's just kind of dialing that down. And but I could do spreadsheets, I could fill out forms.
Well,
all
the
that.
interesting thing is having that goal, because
Right.
like if I want to make X number of dollars per month,
Right.
what does it take to get to that?
Right.
And so then you can start to say, okay, well, if I only make one sale every 2 months,
Yeah.
and how fast do I have to get there? And
Right.
what does that look like?
Right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like specifically the more practical you are, the more you're sort of dreaming about it,
Yeah,
right? You're
right.
putting it in there.
Right.
And so future for you. So you're just started.
Mhm.
So this show will get you tons more people reaching out to do Atlanta Pose and Post photo booth. Oh my goodness. Atlanta Pose and Post photo booth.
Yes.
App booth. Yes, is on
App booth. Yeah.
on social. You got that on
Yes,
social media and things
yes,
like that.
Yes.
So what are some plans for you? What's next? What are you working on?
Well, just booking gigs and getting out there. I know I get a great response when people are in the booth and having fun, and so everyone wants it at their next party or next event. So I really want to be busy. I really want to be booking at least 2 or 3 events a week.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
I want to work.
Do you want to do this full time and not do the other, or is this always something that you see as a side
No, this
hustle?
is a transition to do this.
Full-time.
I want to be able to do this full time.
Okay. So you're working towards that.
Yes.
And that's smart to have
Yes.
gone and done, do it part time, see what you learn about it,
Right.
make sure you'll see some people kind of cut bait and move directly over. And
Right.
that makes it there's a little bit more stress.
Yes. So, but trying to stay stress free. But sometimes I hear from other people that the best thing that could have happened to them is that they took their side hustle to a full time, and that's when they fully engage, because there is a hustle that comes about you when
You got to make it.
you got to make it.
Yeah.
So I'm still a little comfortable right now, but I have enough to keep my weekends busy and to have a really expensive hobby. So I do want this to be a business that
And it's funny that you say that, really expensive hobby. So,
I don't want a really expensive hobby.
Yeah.
I want this
And
to be a
you have an
business.
expensive hobby if you just barely make enough to cover what it costs to
Right,
do it. So
right.
that's where you start to look at it.
So eventually I will want to purchase another booth so that I can book more than one event, or more events on a per day, have an attendant.
Yeah.
at that event, and go from there. So my next step would be get busy enough to where I need 2 booths, and then busy enough to where I need to hire an attendant to attend that booth. And
so you're going to be the queen of photo booths in Atlanta.
I don't want to be a queen of photo booths. I don't want that title, but I definitely want my brand to be reliable.
Yeah.
And people can trust it, and
Very
that we'll
nice.
be there, and we'll show up, and we'll be professional, and we'll provide the best service we can provide for your event.
Well, we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you.
It's a very, very cool idea.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
can't wait to see it at the next event that I attend.
Great.
So we've been talking with Diesha Williams. She is the CEO and founder of Atlanta Pose and Photo.
Booth.
I almost got it. Atlanta Pose and Photo Booth. Thank you so much for joining us on ACE's Best Stories. We'll be back next week to bring you another story from ACE and their Women's Business Center.